Hello, welcome to the Harvestcraft mod spotlight. So you can see we've got a frost garden here. Now what happens with gardens now is that they only drop one crop. So we've got juniper berry and cotton. You can also change it so you can get drops from the seed, from grass blocks and from tall grass. So for instance, if I do this, you can see we're going to get some extra crops. So we've got some asparagus. Okay, we've got a few more frost gardens over here. So frost gardens will only drop one item. So you can see we've got cabbage, celery, cotton, and that is peas. Let's get a few more frost gardens here. So there's a lot more crops there. So we've got rye, got raspberry. Rye is something which you can breed. If we get a cow, we get the rye. You'll notice that rye works. And I think also maybe quinoa as well. Let's try quinoa. Maybe not quinoa. No, quinoa does work. So certainly rye and quinoa work with cows. Now what about these berries we've got here? Well, let's get a snow rabbit. Let's have a look at the effect of these. So you can see that the berries will actually work. Interestingly, maybe not the juniper, because they're used for gin, aren't they, juniper berries? No, actually they are. The juniper berries are fine as well. Interesting that, I guess those are the two variants. I'm not sure, I could have sworn that yeah, no, there is a rare variant of the snow bunny there. Anyway, so you can see what sort of crops we're getting here. We've got cabbage, peas, broccoli, raspberry, juniper berry, rye, quinoa, rutabaga, kohlrabi. And if we look at some of the things, we can use the bulk smoker from Create to use that. You can cook them in a campfire. The smoker, or also the campfire or the smoker will work. Let's just quickly check that we've got everything from the frost garden. Okay, there's also oats. So oats will also be used for cows. So oats can also be used for cows there. So celery, spinach, broccoli, raspberry, cabbage. I wonder if... Yeah, so interestingly, right, so these are what you get from the... and also huckleberries as well. These are used for... Really? Huckleberries are barley? Seems pretty strange. So they're used for cows if they're barley? No, is the answer. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why huckleberries are barley. That seems pretty odd. Interesting that there's multiple types of barley seed. I don't know why that is. Let's have a look at that seed then. See what is wrong with it. Okay, so crops now have got 8 stages of growth. So crops have got 8 stages of growth. So we'll put this. Okay, it does look like a. I don't think. I think it's probably just the name is incorrect. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, berries have still got 3 stages of growth. But most crops are not the same. Let's just have a look. We'll try oats. 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to see what crops actually do have 8 stages, because all of them still seem to have 3. It says on the page it's 8. So rutabaga 1, 2, 3. No, they do not have 8. They have. Let's try cotton. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one has 4. Let's just check that again. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I think that's the 3 as well, actually. Like quinoa. I'm surprised. Isn't quinoa like a mix of loads of different stuff? Maybe not. 1, 2, 3. Let's do this one. Kohlrabi. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so rye. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it looks like they only have 3 actually, so I don't know what that's talking about when it says it's got 8 stages. Okay. The raspberries. 1, 2. Yeah, I sort of. They're not going to have 8. There's no chance. Spinach. And celery. And that's about all you're going to find in the cold biomes, except for maybe a bit of cabbage as well. But, okay, but you've also got some trees as well. So let's just have a little look at the trees. So here's a tree you'll find in a cold biome. Let's get the bone meal out. So yeah, with the Harvestcraft you can bone meal the crops like this. And they should just pop off with a right click. So this is the pine nut. This is the pine nut tree, fruit tree. So I think Pam's organises it into 4 different categories of cold, warm, and temperate. So that's where you might find the spawning. So you can see there's various stages of growth here as well. Again, it's 3 stages for, I think 3 stages for everything. So any sapling with 8 pine nuts will get you the sapling. So in cold biomes, every tree you'll find is just going to be a spruce with these pine nuts. This is really your only fruit. Your only this is your only fruit source. This is only your only tree source. So if we look at what we can do with pine nuts, we can turn them into roasted pine nuts. And they've actually got a pretty decent amount of stuff. In a snowy taiga, though, you do actually get this other garden called a shaded garden. So it's all, but it's only in the very coldest environments, in the icy environments, that you only get frost garden. In a lot of the other environments, you'll also get this one, the shaded garden. So let's have a look. Just break some of these things here. So these will get you a bunch of different crops. And again, remember that you can just break the grass. This is a config setting though. It's also very low chance, it looks like, and a lot of the time you just get normal seeds. But you can occasionally get, I think it may be just random seeds. I kind of don't understand why it's not the same as the gardens. But anyway, let's just focus on the gardens for now. So we'll get the shaded gardens. Okay, so we've got a bunch of shaded gardens here. Let's just get rid of those. So we're just getting 1 crop. I think that was a turnip. Turnip's got a very distinctive image. Correct. Okay, so from the shaded garden you can see we're going to get all these crops. So we've got blackberry, scallion, jute, leek, sweet potato, garlic, zucchini, beans, radish, rhubarb, tea leaf, turnip and tomato. Now I think there is something funny about the tea leaf if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you can cook the tea leaf directly into hot tea. That's right. So we've got zucchini first. I'm still looking for things with more stages of growth. There's the beans. That was beans, right? Yep. And remember, these are the, regrowth crops. So when you right click, that's also a config option, I believe. You get the thing back. And this one was that radishes? I think it might be radishes. It looks the same, right? Yep, that's radishes. Let's see what we can do with radishes. They're one of my favourite foods, so why not? Roasted radish. I don't know if that's what you would do with them. It's not what I would do with them, that's for sure. But anyway, rhubarb, obviously famously had with custard. It's actually quite nice. Yeah, the leaf looks quite good there. I think in general the graphics have always been good, but they're probably as good now as they've ever been. Tea leaf. Okay. And then the turnip, of course. Turnip's a very classic food, really. Okay. And tomato. There's a very good Growthcraft. Growthcraft does tomatoes very well, actually. And then we got these few up here as well. So we got the blackberry, the scallion, the jute, the leek, sweet potato, and garlic. And let's just put that there so I can remember where we got to. So blackberry, scallion, jute, you have to break that first. And we have the leek, and then the sweet potato, and the let's do garlic. Garlic also. I'm just trying to trying to find maybe some interesting recipes here. Is that garlic fully grown? Yep. Got 4 from that. Again, it looks like there's mainly roasted recipes here. Like, are there any which do not, which have got more in? Roasted leek. Let's actually just look at some of the actual food items. I think a lot of it is not added yet from the looks of it. Yeah. We're in this strange, this is like, because this is a very early version, there's very little in the way of meals here. It's just roasted everything or baked. Sweet potato's got a baked variant. I'm just curious if, yeah, it does look like the, maybe not actually. Is it just alphabetical? Yeah, it's just alphabetical. It would be interesting if you could arrange them by the gardens. That would actually give like a little bit more sense. Because I was thinking, like, say you wanted to live in a certain biome, then it might be interesting to arrange them by biome. Now, because we're still in a cold environment, I don't think we're going to see any more trees. So obviously we've got our pine nut trees. Let's just have a little look around. It's not the nicest environment here. but it should be a little bit warmer than. We're just looking at pine nuts here. So yeah, it looks like we just got like you know, those, we've got the shaded garden and frost gardens in. So let's move to somewhere a bit warmer. So the way this works, the way that, okay, here we are in, which one was this? Okay, so we've moved now to, this is just a regular taiga, but it's not snowy, so you see there's a little bit more in terms of the tree growth. Let's have a look what we got here then. So these are going to be some of the common ones. So here we've got a lemon. You're still going to get the pine nuts, but let's have a look. See if we've got any. Yeah, it's got a few more around here. We might be moving to a different biome by mistake, but I'm going to try not to let that. You know, it's still pretty close by. No, that is not done yet. But that one actually seems to have more stages of growth. What we got here? So that's a gooseberry. Peach, is that? That is an orange. Okay. Yeah. So we've got an orange there. So kind of interesting that oranges grow at very cold temperatures. I don't know, I'm not quite sure why that is. Does seem to happen there. But yeah, just so we're sticking by this portal, so we're still in quite a cold environment. Let's see what we've got around here. There we've got an almond. That's certainly a cold one. The nutmeg as well, I believe, is also quite a cold one. This is nutmeg, isn't it? Yep. So nutmeg, we've got nutmeg, almond, orange. Let's have a look at the uses for some of these things. It looks like at this point, most of this stuff is just for, yeah. It's why I say in a way it's a good time to do this mod spotlight before there's 1,000,001 foods. You can imagine that there will be foods, obviously, but yeah, essentially once you get to an environment that doesn't have snow covered in it, you're going to start to find a much better range of crops. That's also just a pine nut. I guess it kind of gives it away with this spruce. For those that are wondering, by the way, I'm not sure if you are wondering, but this is a Mystic Grove from Biomes of Plenty. Really nice looking biome, actually. I think it's Blue Cosmos, is it? Oh, it's Hydrangea. All right, let's look at looking around the taiga a bit more. We've also got this one. That's a candle nut. That is a strange thing. I don't think I remember that. And we've got a chestnut as well. So we've got candlenut and chestnut. You'll notice as well, like if you just look approaching, there seems to be like the way they spawn is often like adjacent to each other. Another pine nut there, and then there's a gooseberry here. So there's sort of like what we're looking at in terms of, that's an orange, right? Yes, that's orange. To be honest, it does get pretty orange at this final growth stage, so fair enough. Which one's this? Avocado, we haven't seen that. And you see also there's some more shaded gardens here. So it's kind of odd, but it seems to me like orange and avocado trees grow at like, I mean this is like very cold temperatures. So it actually doesn't make much sense that orange and avocado trees will grow here, but they do. So let's just carry on like moving up through the temperatures. This is something that I was going to do anyway, so yeah, so we'll move on to another temperature zone. This is actually not that different, this temperature zone. This is just the bigger trees. And there may be, I don't know if there's going to be any slightly different stuff in this type of taiga. This is what we think of when we think taiga with all the pods are, right? But the thing about this type of taiga, even though this is what we think of taiga, it's not. This is like a giant taiga. That's interesting. Orange fruit. So there's actually another, you can actually get that, but you can't do anything with this. No, you shouldn't really be able to get that. So if we look in the giant tiger, it looks like it's, see if there's any real difference. Chestnut. Looks like this shaded garden, that's gooseberry. There's our nutmeg. What did we say this one was? Candle nut is this one? That's avocado. Okay. Let's just look at the final growth over. Oh yeah, you can sort of see it. It sort of looks like someone in a, like wrapped up with a blanket or something. That's a good way to look at it. And that's kind of like in a way what an avocado is. Obviously the actual, well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. There's pine nut. So it looks like in the proper tiger. This is avocado, right? No, this is, what is this one? That's almond. So almond has got a line down the middle in its final growth stage. This one is chestnut, is it? It was chestnut. So chestnut has a little plus sign, two-tone plus sign. And here we have some lemons, which are very distinctive. Let's also check here in the, not the extreme hills, the mountains. Mountains sometimes have different stuff. So lemon. Isn't that cherry? Did we see cherry already? We may have seen cherry already. I'm not sure we did actually. Not sure we did. Nutmeg. Orange. Even though this doesn't look like mountains, I can assure you it is still mountains. Orange. This is candle nut, right? Pretty sure this one is the candle nut. Yep. Candle nut has a kind of looks almost like an apple, but it's not. So yeah, so not much different from tiger really. Okay, so now we're in a slightly warmer climate. We're going to see probably some different stuff. Let's have a look. We've got cherries. So yeah, even in like a birch forest, it looks like it's all the same stuff as well. Okay, so once you get, it looks like, right, once you get to this point, which is plains, so like everything was 70 temperature, so plains or beach, you start to see more different stuff. So let's have a look, see what we've got now, and it just completely changes, right? So here, for instance, we've got cashew. And you also notice we've got these. So let's go through this garden. So this garden is the windy garden. I think the windy garden is, you often find it near water as well. And let's just go to town. I saw a peanut there. Some things you can, I think in general, because a lot of us have seen these things many times, is we're getting to the point where we're just recognizing stuff. Okay, should we just grow them all in one go? So we've got winter squash, cucumber. Nah, you know what? I don't want to do it like that. Winter squash, cucumber, chili pepper, mustard. Mustard is interesting. Surely you can do something with mustard. Yeah, mustard seed. I don't like that, but anyway, I guess it must be just, I don't know why it's like that. Bell pepper. Did I put bell pepper down twice? Maybe not. No, I think that's cucumber, right? Yeah, that's cucumber. That's bell pepper. Corn. Corn is a pretty distinctive. Flax. Yeah, so there are some recipes I think for string. String can be jute, flax. We saw jute in the was that in the frost garden, the jute? No, cotton was frost garden. Jute, I think, was shaded, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's correct. Haven't seen some of these others yet, but we'll get to them. Corn. Yep, and we've got the peanut. Elderberry. Elderberry will actually help. If you have elderberry cordial, I saw the oldest man in the world. He actually said that was why he thought he'd lived to be that old. Fun fact. Elderberry. It's actually very nice elderberry cordial as well. Onion. Artichoke. And the fact that it's got that name as well suggests that it probably does have some health benefits. Artichoke. Just like from why it would have been named in such a fashion. Flax. Flax is blue. Artichoke. So yeah, nice mix of different stuff there. We've got another tree over here. Not much in the plains. We'll probably move to the next one because figs. So we've got figs here. So for those that don't know, proper figs actually are where wasps live. These are organised. So if you look here in the swamp is not really much different. It's a little bit warmer and more humid, right? But yeah. But we'll see some of the things that perhaps we probably would see. Coconut. So these are more got dragon fruit, I think that is, yeah. We've also got one thing I will tell you as well is if you have, this is a naturally spawning garden, I can tell you that much. This is the soggy garden. But if you do have biomes of plenty, or you have anything that spawns cattails, or you know what's weird? I think why was it spelled Catali and then cattail as well? I'll have to look into that. Maybe it is actually both. Because I feel that wasn't a spelling mistake, but certainly cattails is correct. But yeah, if you do have that, it will actually take away your spawning of your gardens in the swamp. Like this soggy garden, there are a few around, but there would be a lot more without those cattails all over the place. Okay, so let's have a look at what crops we've got in the soggy garden. So remember, coconut and dragon fruit. Goodbye. So we've got a bunch of stuff here. Rice is there. It's a very familiar picture, that one. The water chestnut. So that's why that's the soggy one. Let's look at what some of these stuff is like I've never even heard of, to be completely honest with you. Blueberries. So they're a little bit more aquatic, are they, than the other berries? Same with the mulberries. Round and round the mulberry bush. Very famous song. Tomatillos. They are the original tomatoes, I believe. They're one of the original tomatoes. If you look at the history of the tomato, it used to be more creased. Cotton as well. I think we saw cotton already. Okra, green grape, spice leaf, mulberry. Not as much on here. I think maybe I've actually not got them all. Let's try just a few more. Oh, no, probably did. Probably did. I probably did. So we've got tomatillos. Let's get our bone meal. So tomatillos. Oh wow, they have an interesting growth stage. Let me just look at that again. Okay. Jicama. I don't know where. Millet. Millet I know about. Okra. Gets flowers in the last stage. Green grape. You'll notice the berry ones are always the same. It's obviously a template. Spice leaf. Yeah. And did we do cotton already? Oh, maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. I think maybe it is exclusive. It would be unusual, right, if there was other ones. And then we have blueberry, mulberry, cranberry, water chestnut, rice, and kale. So blueberry, mulberry, Cranberry. Water chestnut. If I can just click it. And rice, I guess. Yeah, you can't plant it in the water. Some of them have stuff like that. Kale. Alrighty then. So we also have almond. So the reason why it's like this, like we've got apricots as well. That's a new one. Here we have a selection of banana saplings. Seems to be all over the place in a place like a swamp. They've got very high distribution. I should really be using the proper thing here, because at least we'll be able to see the growth of it as well. Let's just check on that apricot quickly. Yeah, apricot does look quite similar to the orange, actually. Is this a cashew? It is. No, that's a coconut. So this is. Let me just check the coconut again. So that's what the coconut looks like. It almost looks like an eye of ender, to be honest. So you can see we looked at frost shaded and windy, and then we looked at soggy. Now the next one we need to look at is tropical garden, and we're in the jungle, right? So you expect it to be here, but I remember looking for a while and I didn't find it. So we're just gonna. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but let's just have a look at this tropical garden. These are mangroves, by the way, in Biomes of Plenty. They've got a funky texture. So these will be even more like. Probably haven't heard of many of these. Coffee bean, soybean, grape, aubergine, cantaloupe, taro, kiwi, pineapple, kenaf, and arrowroot. Is this another string one? Yeah. There's grape. And we have eggplant or aubergine, depending where you're from. Cantaloupe. Antelope. Cantaloupe. Taro. That one I've never heard of, taro. I mean, I have heard of it only from Harvestcraft though. Kiwi. Pineapple. I guess it depends on how mass produced. Like pineapple, probably like 30 years ago no one would have heard of pineapple. But it's sort of like common. It's like a common thing now. That's kind of a funny thing, isn't it? The things like become common things, but you wouldn't know that like 20 years ago no one would have heard of it. What was this? Kenaf. Kenaf is yeah, that's the string one, isn't it? Soybeans, these are grown all over the world, soybeans nowadays. And I think we had arrowroot and the coffee bean as well. Arrowroot. And well, nowhere for coffee. There's a spot. Coffee bean is also looks like it's also using the grape thing. But yeah, let's have a look. Just check if there's any more trees before we move on to the final section, which will be arid. We're going to do another review as well, because I noticed that the thing is I don't have the spawning quite correct, so there might be a few more things in here that I'm missing. But most of this looks like the same, right? That we've already seen. Apricot, cashews. This is orange cosmos, isn't it? Well, the banana and cashew look exactly the same. Alright, so here we are in the final area, which is obviously we're going to be looking at the arid garden. You may even see some natural spawns like over here. I can't actually place it. If I can't place it, I should be able to place it on sand though. Yeah, for some reason it doesn't place on red sand, that's weird. It looks like we're getting chickpea, agave, cactus, cassava and sisal. That's also the last type of string. What was the paper recipe there? There was another recipe for paper, I believe. Any type of paper plants. Quite a lot is paper plants. You can make paper out of pineapples, chickpea, agave, cactus fruit, cassava, Wow. I think it sisal, and that's it. There's only 5. Well, I guess it is you know, an arid desert, so you're not going to see you know, varied stuff. Okay, so let's just verify what we got here. So that's chickpea. I could have done it this way here from the beginning. It's agave, cactus fruit. But in a way, it's kind of good that I think that I did it in different ways each time. Cassava and sisal. All right, so unfortunately, like, and this is unfortunate. This is like really unfortunate, but I didn't find like hardly any of the saplings. Look at all these saplings I didn't find. And then, I know I explored the whole world, so I don't know why. We've got pomegranate. You know, it's nothing like. There's always been something wrong in Harvestcraft with the way these things are spawning. There's no way I shouldn't have found like these things. So, like something like maple sapling, maybe I didn't. It's got no fruit. But a lot of the others, I'm surprised I wasn't seeing them at all. Lychee. You can sort of tell what biome they're from because I guess I wasn't in the plains that long. Date sapling. Yeah. They're all the same type of thing. Passion fruit sapling. It's the same. Sour sapling. Interesting. Plum sapling. But yeah, I mean, I did travel through the whole world. It's just like some of them you can tell have got jungle wood, some have got oak wood. That seems to be like which one was this? This was plum, right? Persimmon sapling. Okay, peach sapling. Olive sapling. Yeah. Jackfruit. Okay. Peppercorn. Mango. Also have pistachio. I'm sure I have seen like a lot of these around. Apple. Apple. I don't know how I managed to miss that. This is hazelnut, right? Yep. Breadfruit. There's breadfruit. We have lime. They all look very similar. There's no real pear sapling. I think like in future it would be cool if there was a bit more. This one is interesting. Spiderweb sapling. Is that actually going to get me spiderwebs? I wonder what happens with this. So this is a pretty useful sapling, this one, the spiderweb sapling. Because you can literally just get strings straight off a tree. That's an odd one. I can't believe that's a real tree, but maybe it is. Starfruit sapling. Walnut sapling. Yeah, now cinnamon, like cinnamon I recall, that was the one that was funny with the bark. Yeah, you see the bark is funny. It's the only one I think that's got a special bark. Oh no, maple has one, and also the paper bark. Okay. Rambutan. Pecan. Got grapefruit here. Papaya. Pawpaw. Don't know what that is. And we have guava. It looks like maybe there is a different type, like oil on tamarind. I think we've basically done most of them at this point. Tamarind, vanilla bean, yeah, the paper bark. So what is up with the paper bark situation? Can you put? You can't put cocoa beans on this. Kind of funny that there are like those just unique ones. Did I do rambutan and pecan? Probably at some point. But yeah, I think that's going to cover it though for this